Hey, what's up, guys? I just want to put out this build guide on my Infernalist Autocast Auto Bomber build. Utilizes this Pyromantic Pack node, take maximum life as fire damage every time you fill Infernal Flame. I do this by casting Frostbite. Every time I cast Frostbite, I gain 757 Infernal Flame, which overcaps my Infernal Flame, causes me to take damage. That damage triggers Barrier Invocation, which causes me to gain mana energy every time I take that damage to my energy shield. This allows me to cast a Comet. So as you can see, I cast Frostbite twice. I get 2 Comets. Sometimes I get 3, just because my energy gain is pretty high from like jewels and whatnot. But does around 600 damage to my energy shield. Get that much barrier invocation. If I hold this down, as you can see, costs a lot of life, but I'm able to recover a lot of life due to recoup, and just keep casting like this. And mapping, you kind of walk around like this, casting one at a time between packs, and then when you find a rare, you just hold it down for a little bit. Rare dies, easy. Can't see anything, but you know that's the fun of Path of Exile. Um, So I gain my energy shield back every time I cast Frostbite by using Demon Stitcher gloves. These sacrifice 50% of my life and gain energy shield. I wish I had better ones, but my other ones had life nodes in them, and I needed the fire res at the moment. Um, uh, every time I cast Frostbite, as you can see, I'm gaining a bunch of energy shield, and then it's immediately getting triggered by an Infernal Flame to give me my Barrier Invocation. Um, when fully stacked, I get about 8,000 life recovery, and against bosses, when I'm also using Ember Fusillade, I'll get into that later, gets to around 10k, so it's pretty tanky. As long as the damage you're taking is consistent and not like, you know, you're only going to lose your smallest hit when you have that much recovery. So I'm only going to be down to about 3,000 health at minimum usually, and it's only for a frame at a time. And so most mobs, as long as they don't hit you for more than 3,000, they're not going to kill you. Biggest offender is probably just chaos damage. I don't have max chaos res. Hopefully that gets covered in the new patch, but other than that, I'm going to start going over gear in the passive tree. My wand, +5 cold spells, pretty useful. +5 helps with mana costs, getting that breakpoint, because it has to be above my Infernal Flame. So a lot of wands have big maximum mana on it. This one only has 26. The int is essentially 23 strength because I need a certain amount of int on this build, so any extra stats go into strength. So it's basically like 50 life. Big helmet, rarity, crit chance, double res, big life works. I need the ES so that I can actually cast my skills. Um, my shield's pretty important. You can use a Rise of the Phoenix. This is my old shield right here. You can use this until you can afford one of these. I would swap as soon as you can get like a 500% roll with 2 slots for maximum life. 24% life is pretty huge on this build because you need to be above around 3.2k, I'd say. Any less than that, and you're gonna feel like ass. It's just not fun. But above 3.2, you start to feel pretty tanky. Feel like you can walk around. Feel like you're not dying. You have enough energy gain to actually cast a barrier invocation every single time you press Frostbite, which feels really nice. But until then, Rise of the Phoenix doesn't have like a maximum life on it, but the +6 fire res means you can move those soul cores over to your other gear. Right now, I have 4 soul cores in my gloves and my chest plate for fire res, as well as 1% max res on the implicit here. Um, that's to get up to 83% fire res. If you get above 85, you start taking too little damage. Your recovery kind of takes a big hit above that amount. And anything less than 80,000, you kill yourself like really fast, um, on accident all the time. So anything above 80% is what I'd recommend, but not more than 85. It's kind of I mean, it also depends on your life total. Like if you have a smaller life total or more life total, you could probably increase your fire res a little bit because then you're generating more energy shield and you're taking more energy shield damage every time you proc. I'll go over my amulet. It's a really good one. The 20 all attributes is insane. It's like 60 strength, essentially. So it's a lot of life. Dex is nice. Recoup is really important. It has to be. I mean, it doesn't have to be max roll, but it's one of the most important stats in the build. Until you get really good jewels, this is going to be your only source of recoup, pretty much. Big life. The anoint is pretty important. Well, not pretty important, but it's really nice for its price. It's really cheap. You look down here, it's 15% recovery. Only costs those 3 oils. Extremely common, and it helps with recoup and with flasks. My rings are just res life, a little bit of attributes, nothing great. Fire damage, if that's cold damage, it would have been great, but it doesn't really matter. Chest plate, 47 spirit, allows me to use blink. Blink is a cool skill. Helps with clear, especially because dodge roll, you can't cast while dodge rolling, but you can cast while blinking. It's very, very important. Big life, double res, int helps a little bit. My boots, triple res, life, 25% move speed. This is probably my next upgrade, but it's kind of hard to find. I could drop the lightning res, but it's hard to find boots with 18 chaos res because I'm already down so much. Oh, there's a trade. We have a belt, big life, strength, fire and cold res. My gloves, wish the life roll was higher. I have these ones with a higher life roll, but they have max life soul cores, which right now I'm using max fire res till I get some better stuff. This amulet when he gets here. If he could hurry up. Nice little project skills amulet, spell damage. Alright, next up, I'm gonna focus on my life flask is kind of important. Recovery rate is, I think, the best one by far. Tree, pretty much just recoup. You just grab every recoup, and then these nodes are pretty important. Reduce max mana, increase mana cost of skills. By taking these, allows you to actually get your mana cost down without having to use like mana multiplier supports on your skill gems. I could drop these, but they're so nice. It takes a lot of investment to be able to drop these. These little bit of res right here, 3% fire res. It's just on the way, kind of helps. This one, literally just for 15% fire res. The ignite effect does nothing. I just really need the fire res. It's probably what I'm looking to upgrade on these boots. But I mean, it's pretty expensive. Tri res, 18% chaos res with move speed life. That's gonna be tough. More recoup nodes, lots of jewel sockets. I have a ton. They're all gonna look like this ideally. Probably gonna all be sold out pretty soon, but these are the best ones. Spell damage, cold damage, elemental damage, trigger damage, and then the recoup and the meta skill energy is important on every single one. As you can see, that one's a 3 mod. This one's a 3 mod. This one's a kind of a 4 mod. The cold pen doesn't do a whole lot, but it helps. Stuff like that. We have this one, increased mana cost of skills, pretty important, and cast speed is nice. Crit chance, elemental damage, and some res and damage. These are like cast speed nodes. They feel pretty good. I'm pathing to this crit node, cast speed, crit chance, pretty good. Let's see what else. This node right here, trigger spell damage, just some damage nodes. I was thinking of grabbing this one, but it ended up not doing a whole lot because I'm already cursing them for like 50%, and so most mobs don't have any resist anyway. +1 cold skills helps with mana cost, helps with damage. It's just a great node. The other ones kind of don't matter. This doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. This doesn't matter because I'm already insta freezing every enemy. In terms of my ascendancy tree, This is the one I ended up on. You could swap this node for more max life if you need it. Don't be afraid to. It's actually not that bad. But once you get to the point where you have enough life, and probably once you swap to this shield, then you can move this node over to 30% more crit damage. Really comes into play when you start taking like this node right here. Other than that, that's my tree. This node right here gives you a little bit of energy shield recoup, which means when you're fully ramped, you're gaining a little bit more energy than when you are not fully ramped. Kind of helps out. I like this side because having just that little buffer of extra max energy, you want about double the energy shield as you are generating. And so hitting 1200 for me right now is ideal. So I go this side. I could go this side, but cost 2 extra points here. I could move this down here. It would give me a little bit of a damage bonus, but I would miss out on all this energy shield. That feels pretty nice. Other than that, that's my skill tree. Let me do gem sockets. Gem sockets, hypothermia, level 19, 20% quality. The gem levels do impact your mana costs. You got to keep that in mind. If you need to increase the mana costs, there are support gems like Focus Curse, 120%, Impending Doom, 130%. If you need to get that mana cost above, that can help. Comet doesn't need to necessarily be above your Infernal Flame cost, but it does help with recovery. The more damage you take, the more you recover. Kind of just makes you tankier, honestly. It sounds counterintuitive, but the more consistently you hit yourself, the tankier you are, instead of hitting yourself for a lot every once in a while. It's pretty nice. For the rest of the gems, so we have Hypothermia, Arcane Tempo for cast speed, Heightened Curse, 140% cost multiplier, and increased effect. Very, very useful. Mobility, this helps you, so you can do this a lot easier, running almost full speed. Ritualistic Curse, just kind of AoE. This one's kind of doesn't do anything. Barrier Invocation, 20% quality, level 17. I could increase it, but honestly, the dex requirement is kind of high. Don't really want to. Comet, doesn't need any support gems. This one only has one socket because I corrupted it. This support gem doesn't really matter. You can play the build without it. So that's your 5 link, and then there's your 6 link. Spell Echo, Capacitor, Impetus. These two help with energy. The max energy lets you just save up to 3 instead of up to 1. Spell Echo is just really, really nice with autocast skills. Ember Fusillade is, so if I ramp up a little bit here, as you can see, I'm kind of limited by how much energy shield I'm proccing at a time. But if I spam click with my both mouse buttons and press F at the same time, as you can see, my energy shield starts to fill up more often. It just procs about 20% more comets. And then Blink, if you don't have Blink or you don't want to put Herbalism, you don't have enough Spirit, this is what you drop, but it does feel really, really nice. So level 19 Blink, Herbalism, Second Wind, Ingenuity, just lets you dash twice. Very nice. But that's about it. Let me think if there's any more tips. Other than that, I'll just play some boss kill footage at the end of the video. Yeah, and some breach, some just general mapping clips. I felt like were pretty consistent with the build. I don't die anymore. Level 90, gaining XP. The only time I die is when I do like 8 mod T15 or T16 maps. But yeah, for a while I was dying a lot. So, alright. That's it. See you.